Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordant and we are back for some more Baldur's Gate 3. We are at the last light inn. We just had a big fight here after talking to the cleric upstairs, whose name I kind of forgot. But yeah, I also noticed that indeed we did have somebody die here, which was Ceres. I can't pick up her loot because it's considered to be stealing.
Maybe we should ask someone else.
I think we should be fine. In any case, we have all leveled up, and these guys will not shut up, so I'm gonna start by doing that. I want to talk to these children, I want to level up, and then I also want to sell some stuff. If you'll notice, I have Lae'zel heavily encumbered, because I'm gonna sell some stuff that we had at the camp that we're not really using.
Mole would do the same for any of us. You know it.
But how do we get into Moonrise? We can't fight those shadow things.
We could. I beat up those harpies, and they're way scarier than shadows.
You know what Mole would hate more than anything? Bad things happening to us. You've seen what's out there. We wouldn't stand a chance.
You stay put, I'll bring Mole home.
But it's our job to bring Mole back.
Look at him. He's a proper adventurer. And if we got hurt, Mole would be really mad at us.
Fine. But you gotta understand, Mole is family. Bring her back, please.
Okay, now hopefully they will have shut the hell up, so that I can now talk without getting interrupted. So yeah, we picked up a bunch of things to sell, but I'm actually gonna start by doing our level ups. I'm gonna start with Lae'zel. She's actually a fairly easy level up, as are, you know, most fighter types, I guess. She leveled up, she gains some more HP, and she gets additional superiority dice, so an additional one. And we also get to pick 2 additional maneuvers. Now, there's a bunch of stuff here that I find to be interesting. I like, for example, the precision attack. I think it can really help, maybe sometimes land some hits. The one thing I don't like is that it's still random. You have to roll a superiority die and then you add the result. So it can be as low as a 1, but it can also be as high as an 8. But the randomness is kind of throwing me off of it right now. I like Rally. I don't think I like this one very much. But the ones I'm actually gonna take, as there are no new ones, these are the same maneuvers we had available when we first got our subclass choice. The ones I like are evasive footwork. You can evade attacks by imposing disadvantage on melee attacks against you for a round. It's only melee, but it can help her tank a lot better. And my other choice was between, like I said, precision attack, which can be very, very helpful, especially since we have Great Weapon Master. You know, we have that penalty, but the damage goes up by 10. But I think I actually want to go for the trip attack here. I just think it may be overall a little bit more useful. And being able to trip someone, possibly knocking them prone with any kind of weapon, I think it's worth having. So, evasive footwork. Also, unless this is bugged, which it could be an interface bug, it does not seem to spend any kind of action, not even a bonus action. So I like this very much. And for these here, just normal action, regular action. You can also trip from a range, which can also be very handy. So it's basically an action and a superiority die. The level up is done. Very simple. Let's go for Shadowheart, which again is a very simple level up. Some more HP, we gained access to level 4 spells. We only get 1 level 4 spell slot, which is kinda sucky. In terms of spells, there's not much to pick up at level 4 on a cleric, apparently. You have Banishment, which can temporarily banish your target to another plane of existence. This is a crowd control spell, and what Banish does is the target cannot be targeted. It cannot move or take actions, bonus actions, or reactions. Now, Something that's not said here, but you can imply by this area here. When you banish someone to another plane of existence, you also cannot target them. So it's a crowd control spell, you can take someone out of the fight for a while, but you also can't injure them at all. It lasts 2 turns, it's a concentration spell, but I guess the really cool thing about this one here is that it is a charisma save. And a lot of times your enemies will have a lot of wisdom, a lot of intelligence, constitution and whatnot, but their charisma can actually be quite low. So this could be an interesting spell to have access to. We also have Death Ward. This one is a little bit more interesting. It's not like the originals. What this does is it protects a creature from death. The next time damage would reduce it to 0 hit points, it remains conscious with 1 hit point left. I'm not exactly sure how practical this would be. I mean, it would prevent one of your characters from dying once, because you stay at 1 hit point, and it takes up a level 4 spell. That being said, I think the interesting part about this one is that it lasts until a long rest. So you can just have a long rest, cast this on someone that you really don't want to die, and he will have it until the next long rest, or until he gets dropped to 0 hit points, of course. Much in the same style, we have freedom of movement, although I do think this one is a lot more useful than that one. Snap an ally out of any stun. Difficult terrain can slow them down, and they cannot be magically paralyzed or restrained. If the target is restrained by non-magical means, it can spend 1.5 meters of movement to free itself. Again, the main reason why I like this spell so much is that it lasts until the long rest. So, someone like Lae'zel, for example, in my party, that I really wanted to be able to move around and, you know, do whatever she needs without being restrained in some way, lasting until the next long rest is very powerful. It's not a concentration spell, you just spend a level 4 spell slot to make sure that someone has freedom of movement. Very cool. And finally we have Guardian of Faith. Call forth a Divine Guardian that attacks nearby enemies. Why does this even... Oh, okay. It deals 20 damage. Channel the power of your deity in your sword strike to protect the cleric that brought you into being. Okay. People can save, they would still take 10 damage. I guess it's cool that it's not like a die roll, it's just flat 20. But my issue here is that every time it deals damage, the Guardian loses an equal amount of hit points. Lasts for 10 turns, it is a construct, it has 60 hit points and 18 AC. And it does not move. Very important. He cannot move. I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna use this, but we'll see. And from Trickery, we have access to Polymorph, which will transform a creature into a harmless sheep. Well, let me just show you something here. If you just mouse over this, you may think, ah, damn, this is powerful. Because if you turn someone into a harmless sheep, then you can just, you know, slaughter it without it having a chance to fight back. This is much in the style of the original games. If you were able to polymorph someone, an enemy, into a squirrel, you could freely kill them. They would have a very low amount of HP, they couldn't cast, they lost all of their armor buffs and whatnot. They were essentially free kills. However, if we press T to further inspect, we will see why this spell goes from goddamn amazing into just eh. If the sheep's hit points drop to 0, the target reverts to its original form with its original hit points. So, basically, it is a crowd control spell. Again, you can take someone out of the fight by turning it into a sheep for 5 turns, but you can't kill him while in sheep form. If you kill the sheep, he goes back to being whatever he was before. It can still be interesting because it lasts for 5 turns, but again, not as powerful as it could otherwise have been. And we also have Dimension Door. Teleport yourself and up to 1 adjacent ally to a place you can see. The ally cannot be larger than medium. I'm not sure what adjacent means, but given that the distance here is melee, I imagine you really need to be next to him. I mean, it's a cool spell, I imagine. It's kind of like a Misty Step, but you bring someone with you. The main difference is that it is an action. It is not a bonus action. Still, I think it's a cool spell to have. And I'm just going to prepare my spells here. I don't even know what I want to take. I guess Banishment is always something that could be useful. And I suppose I can try it, but I think I'm going to take Banishment more for testing it out purposes rather than actually being the spell I would normally choose. I think normally I would pick Freedom of Movement. And I guess I can take out Spiritual Weapon and maybe play around with Guardian of Faith, just to see how the spell works. Her level up is done, so again, very, very simple.
Perhaps a bit.
We're gonna go now for Will, our Warlock. And Will, by the way, I am kind of considering... I am kind of considering respecking Will. And I will go into it in a little bit. So yeah, more HP, we gain the spell and we can replace the spell. In terms of spells, our level 4 choice is also very, very limited. We have Banishment as well. We have Blight, which deals 8d8 necrotic damage, which is a powerful amount of damage. Plants are more susceptible to the spell. They roll with disadvantage and they still take half the damage if they succeed the roll. Okay, so it's basically a Constitution save, which is not very good because a lot of enemies I imagine are gonna have high Constitution scores, but it's still a powerful single target nuke. Keep in mind, it's not the usual range. It's not something like for example, Ray of Enfeeblement, which has 18 meters. This one is half range. You also have Dimension Door. You have Fire Shield, which you read your body in flames that shed light in a 3-meter radius, provide resistance to fire or cold damage, and retaliate against melee attacks. So every time you get hit, you are going to deal back 2d8 fire or cold damage, and you are going to be taking half of the respective element as well. We have Wall of Fire, which will create a blazing wall of fire, burning anyone who dares stand too close. So you just create a wall of fire that stays in place. It is a concentration spell, and anybody getting close will get burned. I'm not really sure what the best choice here is, especially given that, you know, Warlocks only have 2 spell slots available at this time. It may not be the best choice, but I'm gonna go for Blight, just to have like a heavy nuke, a heavy single target nuke in case I need it. And for Eldritch Invocations, for a moment there, I was actually very happy with this one, the Book of Ancient Secrets. You gain the Ray of Sickness, Chromatic Orb, and Silence spells, and you can cast these spells once per long rest, and they don't expend any spell slots when cast. Why was I very happy about this? Because something like Chromatic Orb, it may not seem like a very interesting spell when you are a level 7 caster, but given that basically all spells on the Warlock list are getting upcast to the latest spell level they have available, this could actually be a powerful tool to have access to. However, I tested this out, and it's only a level 1 spell. It does not get upcast. Same thing for Ray of Sickness, same thing for Silence, although Silence doesn't make a difference. Silence can still be useful, but I'm not going to be taking one of my invocations just so I can cast Silence once per long rest. You also have Dreadful Word, which you can cast Confusion with a Warlock spell slot. It's cool, but I already have Hypnotic Pattern, so I think I'm good on the crowd control front there. And with Sculptor of Flesh, you can cast Polymorph with the Warlock spell slot. Again, I don't really feel like this is gonna be, you know, the best thing, given that you cannot kill the sheep. Oh, also, by the way, sorry. I'm not considering Banishment on Will, because Shadowheart already has it, Gale can also have it, so I think I prefer to just go for a damaging spell here. Continuing with the invocations. Beast speech is cool because you can speak with animals at will, essentially, but we have potions, and I think I'm not gonna spend an invocation on this. Proficiency in deception and persuasion, we don't need it. Devil's Sight, you can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 24 meters. Very cool. Vigor, you can cast False Life, but we already get temporary hit points from our Dark One's Blessing, and they override each other. Disguise Self, it could be cool for Speak with the Dead, but again, not worth one of these. You learn how to cast One-Way Shadows. Essentially, you can go invisible using an action. It does not take a spell slot, which is cool, but if you move, attack, cast another spell or anything like that, it breaks invisibility. I may be underestimating what this can do, but I think I'm fine not taking it. And then Thief of 5 Fates, you can just cast Bane. So, I am gonna go for Devil's Sight. It's always very, very useful to have improved Dark Vision, and it will also free up a ring slot on Will. Level up, done. Oh, and okay, so the reason why I'm considering respecking Will, but this would probably be for like the next episode or something, is that the deepened pact that we get at level, I don't know if it's like 5 or something. I'm not gonna consider Blade Pact Holder. I don't want him to be like a melee combatant. I want to use more of spellcasting and Eldritch Blast. But the Pact of the Chain's Familiar also gains an extra attack. This is bugged. It doesn't work. I think it only works after you summon the creature, like immediately after you summon the creature, and any other time it will not work. It's bugged. So until they fix this, you're losing out, you're completely losing out on the deepened pact feature just by choosing Pact of the Chain. Okay? Same thing for the Blade Pact holders. I think this is also bugged for them, from what I read online. However, Pact of the Tome Warlocks can cast Animate Dead, Haste, and Call Lightning once per long rest. It does take up a spell slot, I believe, but you have access to 3 additional spells, and 2 of them can actually be quite handy, like Haste and Call Lightning, while this one does nothing. And at the same time, something that kind of bothers me, I'm not sure if it's the same way in just in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, but the fact that your Conjured Familiar does not level up with you, he is always a level 1 creature. He doesn't scale, his attack doesn't do any more damage when you level up. There's no scaling to the creature at all. It makes it feel very underwhelming. This is a scout. That's what this is. It's a scout. That's all. It has some minor utility. You can threaten enemies. You can try to have another person to break concentration. Maybe attack the environment. There are still some uses, but it feels very weak that it doesn't scale in any way. So I'm thinking about going for the what's the name? The Pact of the Tome. Yeah, just to have those extra spells. We'll see, we'll see. And finally we have Mr. Gale here. And our friend Mr. Gale, more HP, level 4 spells unlocked, we have 1 spell, and we can choose to learn 2 new spells. Now, let's go over what's different here. Banishment, Blight, Confusion. You can befuddle a group of creatures, causing them to attack at random, wander around aimlessly, and occasionally skip turns in the stupor. This can be very useful. It's also a concentration spell. It targets Wisdom, which is something that I usually hex for, so it can be a very handy spell to have. Conjure Minor Elemental, you conjure an elemental, fight alongside you. These can be very powerful, but generally speaking, I'm not really much of a fan of summoning, so I'm gonna pass on this. Dimension Door we've seen. Evard's Black Tentacles. This one I like, both for the style and for the effect. So this makes it so that tentacles sprout from the ground, turning the area into difficult terrain, and also attacking and smothering creatures within. It lasts for 10 turns. The save is a stringed save, which is kind of bad. It's also a concentration spell. And let's look at smothering. Restrained by dark tendrils, affected entity cannot move and takes 3 to 18 bludgeoning damage per turn. Attack rolls against the affected entity have advantage, while the entity's attack rolls and dexterity saving throws have disadvantage. So, if this actually lands, it is very powerful. But being a stringed save, I have doubts. But I'm still going to take it because I think this one can be very fun. We have Fire Shield, what we just saw with Will. Greater Invisibility. Turn a creature invisible. Attacks against it have disadvantage. It attacks with advantage. Invisibility breaks when you fail increasingly harder stealth checks on attacking, casting spells, or interacting with items. So it is a very, very toned down version of the spell Greater Invisibility of the originals. The only thing that I'm curious about is if Greater Invisibility will make you like 100% invisible, even if you attack. So you attack someone, and if you succeed your stealth check, will you still stay invisible? Or do you go into that shimmering state? That's what I'm not sure of. We have Ice Storm, deals 2d8 bludgeoning plus 4d6 cold. It will impel a storm of hail and ice to crash from the sky, covering the ground and striking all objects and creatures within range. So this one deals a decent amount of damage, let's say. But I think the more interesting thing about this spell is that it also leaves an ice surface for 2 turns in the area. So anybody moving through it is on difficult terrain and they may fall prone. We have Otiluk's Resilient Sphere. Enclose the target in a sphere of shimmering force, reducing its movement speed by half and blocking all incoming and outgoing damage. So, again, crowd control spell. You can take somebody out of a fight, they can still move but they cannot damage anyone, but they also can't be damaged. So, just like with Banishment, the interesting part about these spells is that if one of your friends is in danger, you can encase them in an Otiluk's Resilient Sphere, or you can banish them to another plane, and they will be essentially immune for the duration. So, can be handy, not sure if I'm gonna take it. Phantasmal Killer. This one is a spell that haunts a creature with illusions of its greatest fears. It takes 4d10 psychic damage per turn, can no longer move, and will be easier to hit. It doesn't say what this means. I'm not sure if it's a disadvantage, if it's an AC penalty. I don't really know. It's a concentration spell, lasts for 10 turns, and it is a wisdom save. Again, something that I usually hex for. Oh, here it actually says it. It takes 4d10 psychic damage per turn, can't move, and has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. So it's not necessarily easier to hit. But, okay. We also have Polymorph. We have Stone Skin, which is very different from the originals. You can turn the creature's flesh hard as stone. It takes only half the damage of all non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. I'm not sure if non-magical means that it has to be a non-magical weapon, or if it's something different, like if a spell deals bludgeoning damage, it still won't block it. I'm not 100% on this. The main difference here between this version of the spell and the originals is that in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, or in the second edition of Dungeons & Dragons, when you cast Stone Skin, it can only affect yourself, not anyone else, but in this case you can help your friends. It will give you a certain number of skins, and what it means is when you get hit by some kind of physical dealing attack or spell, it will block 100% of the damage, be the damage 1 damage or 1 million damage, it doesn't matter, and it will shed one of your skins. So once you receive enough attacks, your stone skin will break and you are again vulnerable as usual. The advantage about this one is that it lasts until the next long rest, so you can have this up for an entire session. The bad part about it is that it does not block all damage, it's only half damage, and it's a concentration spell. So if I decided, for example, to cast Stone Skin on Lae'zel, I would basically be saying that for the rest of that session I cannot use a concentration spell, because if I do that I'm gonna break the Stone Skin. I'm kind of on the fence on this one. And then we also have Wall of Fire. So the spells I'm more interested in playing around with here are Evard's Black Tentacles, Greater Invisibility, Ice Storm, and Phantasmal Killer. The reason why I'm not picking them right now is that I have to see what this guy actually has. I have Wall of Fire, I have Stone Skin.
Patrols report more activity among the cultists, Mum.
Preparing to march, I wager.
Seems that way.
I have Dimension Door. I have Blight. Okay. So I guess what I want to see actually here is... there is a merchant over here. I'm not sure if he actually sells spell scrolls, but I'm gonna test it out. Because that will make me decide what I want to pick up, you know.
I sold a pair of boots to that traitor. Can't believe it.
Yeah. It is what it is, lady. She has Blight, she has Lightning Bolt. What is this? Oh, Cone of Cold, this is level 5 spell. Also level 5 spell. She has Polymorph, she has Ice Storm. Seeming. Didn't know about that. Fire Shield. And that's basically it. So Banishment, Scroll of Polymorph, and Ice Storm is what she has as level 4 spells. Wall of Stone as well.
Take care now.
Okay, so I am gonna go for the Black Tentacles and Phantasmal Killer, I think. Yeah, Black Tentacles, Phantasmal Killer. We can take this away from here and take something like this. And if I want to play around with the spells, I guess I can take out Blink and test out the Tentacles. And that's all of the level ups done. Again, it takes a little bit of time, we have to discuss our options and the spells and whatnot, but it is done. Oh, and since I'm here, I'm gonna try and sell some stuff as well.
See if there's anything you need. We don't know when the next blow might land.
She has 1,600 gold. I want... Wait, Did she just change the spells she had available? Because I think she did. She definitely changed the spells. What? I was gonna purchase... Oh. Well, I want that. I was gonna purchase the Ice Storm. But she no longer has it. God damn you, woman. She has Confusion. And now she has the black... God damn it, man. Why do you do this to me, lady? Why? Magic weapon. Damn it. Okay. Whatever. I'm gonna take Greater Invisibility. I was considering taking Confusion, but first let's see what we can do here. Take my money. And now, I think I gave you something to sell. Yeah, like for example... No, this can stay here. Yeah, so... I gave her this +2 heavy armor. I'm not using it, so I'm just gonna sell it. It sells for 270 gold. Okay. Now, if I go for Lae'zel, she has a bunch of stuff. So you can just see, I have the Dark Justiciar mails. I have some weapons that I'm never using. Like these axes that don't really matter all that much. This one I'm not selling, by the way. A +1 sword, +1 daggers, +1 hand axe, you know, stuff like that. So, sell all of it. We made some money. Now, if I go back again and talk to you again, are you gonna change your spells?
Take care now.
What I'm wondering is if she changed her spells because all of my party reached level 5.
See if there's anything you need. We don't know when.
Which is exactly in the style of Divinity, and I think that's what she did. Well, that kind of sucks, right? Because I wanted my spell.
Take care now.
Okay, whatever. Whatever, mans. Let's see if the other guy, the Deep Gnome, if he has spells now or new items. Barkus Fruit.
I'm sure you will.
No, he still has the same thing, I think. Yeah, no spells. Okay.
Now, if you're done.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's talk to Jaheira and see what she thought about the previous battle.
Traitors among us. A child taken. And still I can only feel relief. If they had taken Isobel too,
We didn't let them. Yeah, Isobel is her name. I assume you have some payback in mind?
You know me already. But you'll have the honor of making up for my blunder here. I trust that you will.
Don't you want to come with me? I wanted to ask you about something.
Then speak.
I've heard the name before. Where?
Some crusty ballad monger, I expect. They have me slaying gods or laying with them, depending on the bard.
Okay, that's actually cool. I heard it was both.
You'll have to sing that one for me when all of this is done. In any case, it was a lifetime ago by now. And for all our victories, we remain on the back foot. We fight, we die, and we just hope that when our time comes, there is someone else to take our place.
Surely you made more of a difference than that.
The songs would have you believe we saved the realm's entire. Perhaps we did.
You did.
They simply refused to stay saved.
That's also true. Okay, so she doesn't have... Really? No other options?
The shadows haven't consumed you. Good.
Yeah, okay. Nothing new. We also have this area here that we haven't explored yet. Why is the guy flying over? Oh, it's the upper floor. Okay, we have Counselor Floric here.
He still won't speak. Just keeps going with the bloody song.
Nothing of use on his person.
His original writ of duty, signed by Eltan himself. Fella must be one of the very first Flaming Fist.
He must know something. Let's not give up on him yet. We believe the cultists have taken Duke Ravengard to Moonrise Towers. I don't suppose you found a way in.
I'm heading there shortly.
Merciful Timora. That's the first piece of good news I've heard since Elturel. But I'm not pinning all my hopes on you. I trust you'll do everything you can to free your father. But, in case you don't find a way, I'll be heading to Baldur's Gate to seek reinforcements. The Council sent a carrier pigeon with news that the city has been dealing with absolutist attacks. The Steel Watch is holding strong. I'll request that Lord Gortash send some of them to aid in the fight against Moonrise. The curse won't harm them.
You know the name Gortash, a councillor with considerable influence on Baldurian industry and politics. But he is no lord.
What are the Steel Watch?
The Steel Watch are the future of warfare. Gondian automatons that can be sent into battle without risking any lives. Except those of our enemies. Lord Gortash had only completed work on the prototypes before Ravengard and I left for Elturel, but even they were formidable. With the Steel Watch at our backs, we can storm the tower whatever Ketheric throws at us, I'm sure of it. I'll do my best, but there's every chance I'll fall to the curse or the cult before I reach the city. Don't count on me and assume no aid is coming. Work with Jaheira. That harper's mind is as sharp as her blade. Follow her guidance. Farewell. We'll meet again, God's willing.
Yeah, so omnipresent authority figure. I like Jaheira. She's cool. And we can steal all of this because of reasons. Oh. Oh right, and we did free up a ring slot because I was using this Sunwalker's gift to give me dark vision up to 12 meters. I can send this to someone else like Gale. And what other rings do I want to use? Death saving throw is not bad. Light cantrip. No. Charmed. Invisibility and blur. Yep. Gimme. And I should also cast my aid, because I keep forgetting this. Heal yourself and increase your hit point maximum by 10 hit points. Well, if it also heals, maybe I could wait to take some damage. Okay. Who's singing? This guy? Oh right, because we had a quest here. Resolve the abduction complete. Ah, we prevented Marcus from abducting Isobel. Why would the cult want her alive? Okay, rescue the Grand Duke. We learned the Grand Duke was captured by Drow and taken westwards. We agreed to look for the Grand Duke. Moonrise Towers is a popular location, at least for the Cult of the Absolute. Perhaps the Grand Duke was taken there too. And we met Councillor Floric at the Last Light Inn. She urges us to search for Grand Duke Ravengard. She believes he is being held in the Moonrise Towers. Find Mole. We found out that Mole, the leader of the young tiefling pickpockets, has vanished. We should help them find her. And wake up Art Kalag. Find some clues about Art. We heard Councillor Floric talking about the Flaming Fist found comatose in Last Light Inn. He may have knowledge about the Shadow Curse. We should see if we can wake him somehow. Oh my god. Okay, wait. We discovered that Shadowheart possesses a certain amount of resistance to the ill effects of the Shadow Curse. It seems that this must be due to Shar's patronage, but given the mercurial nature of the Dark Goddess, the extent of her protection remains to be seen. We gifted Shadowheart a Night Orchid, a favorite flower. She was greatly appreciative of the gesture. Okay. Nothing very special. So, dude, how do we wake you up?
Flame Colour. That's your name, isn't it? Art Colour? I'm Fistular.
Thaniel. Climbing up a tree.
We need you, sir. One of our own's been taken, a Grand Duke. You might know something that could help us bring him back.
We found him out in the shadows, just wandering. Nothing survives out there for long. Don't know how he made it, or where he came from.
This is no physical ailment. It is a spiritual malaise. The man's mind has been gripped by the Shadowfell, yet it has not broken.
I've heard the name Thaniel from a friend of mine, Halsin.
Really? Could you bring him here? You'd be glad of the help, wouldn't you, sir?
Can he hear you?
You hear me, don't you, sir? You might not be able to answer, but you hear me.
She's very optimistic. That song, have you heard it before?
No, not till I met Art anyway. It seems to be all he remembers.
Did you already check for personal effects?
This was in his pocket. He doesn't seem to have any reaction to it now, but he held on to it for 100 years anyway.
I'll see what I can discover.
Thank you.
Okay, so what the... Oh.
Some parchment there. Looks official.
Wait, what is the parchment?
I pity you.
Or is it the item that she gave me? A warden letter. Assignee, art color, rank, flame, objective. To obtain information about current activities in Moonrise Towers and its environments, headed by Catherick Thorm of the region's ancestral Thorm family. Orders. Take lodging in the Last Light Inn and begin investigation in the local House of Healing. Reports indicate corruption, but no corroboration has yet been obtained. Note. The region's Thorm family are long-standing devotees of Selûne, but rumors indicate a Sharon enclave might be gaining momentum. Investigate and report. Signed, Grand Duke Elton. Okay, this is the Duke of Baldur's Gate back at the time of the originals.
Poking around the House of Healing. Must have found something.
Maybe. Maybe. Shut up, Art. You kinda get tired of hearing this after a while. Oh, by the way, if you see some tutorials popping up again, it's because I was playing a little bit with Cordampina and the tutorials reset. Oh. Portrait, I didn't mean to take it. I just wanted to check it out. Flow of the Kiontar. Here you find the rich history of the Kiontar River. Evidently it flowed through half a dozen settlements, more and more springing up over time, and the picture this book evokes is that lasts 100 years, one of barges drifting over the orange water under a burning autumn sky. And the barges smelling of cast wine, salted pork, exciting spices, less exciting spices like rosemary, which is still fragrant and nice, but altogether not terribly exciting. What? And children running barefoot by the banks, waving to the grinning, sweating sailors from their play along the river reeds. Okay.
What are the things that you've been cooking up?
I've known Marcus for years. To think that he would turn on us, on me. You did well to defend Isobel.
Okay. And we have a harper's testimonial. 1. A harper's testimonial. The last stand of Catherick Thorm, chosen of Shar. The pursuant text describes a battle between Catherick Thorm's faithful and magical harper forces. I do not know what magic the Dark Justiciar summoned to our plane, but if it came from the Weave, then let it be cursed for eternity. For 3 days we sieged the towers. For 3 days their dark bolts cleaved our ranks. And on the 3rd day, as his men and women at last began to fall, Catherick entered battle. I wonder if this is what's the word? If it's incorrectly written as woman instead of women, or if it really means that there is one woman, one special woman in his ranks. I'm kind of curious about that.
Easy, man.
Okay, so how did the quest actually update? What am I doing? J. We found the mysterious man unconscious in the Last Light Inn. He said the name Thaniel while sleeping. We should tell Alison. Okay, correct. We found Art's last orders to investigate the House of Healing. If we follow in his footsteps, we might learn more about him. Okay. I do need a long rest as well, because we used a lot of our spells and we don't have any more short rests available. And what is over here? I'm not sure if I've come over here yet. Oh, it's... yeah, I had come over here. Okay. Okay. Let's go to camp then. We're gonna talk with Alcin. Alcin, where are you? No, that's Withers. Where is Alcin? Gale? Alcin, there he is.
You wish to speak?
Yes, I do. There's a flaming fist at last light. The curse has left him insensible, but he's muttering about a boy called Thaniel.
He is? Then I must see him. Insensible or not, he knows something. I will go to see him at once. Join me when you can.
Okay, good. That is what I wanted. And I suppose since we're here, I am gonna go for that full rest now. Mr. Owlbear Cub, how are you?
You smell very delicious, but I will not bite you.
Please don't. Pet the cub. Yes.
More.
Okay. I don't want Scratch to be jealous. Come here, boy. Boy.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
I am. Pet. He's a good boy. Okay. Let's go for the long rest. Oh my god, this goddamn thing. Sort by type. Pick up. Yes, camp supplies, I know. Should be enough? Yeah. Oh. Oh!
Playtime's
Mizora,
over,
yeah.
pet.
Oh, I love this time of year. The dickheads start popping up wherever you look.
Absolute's cult has gone and grabbed one of Zariel's assets. A devil. And a powerful one at that. They're locked up in the cult's fortress, Moonrise Towers. And you're getting him out.
I'm not sure if I want to do that. If this devil is so powerful, how did they manage to get captured?
Questions! You're wasting my time! Let's see about getting your priorities fixed. Clause Z, Section 13. Should promised soul refuse obeyance or neglect duty, the pact holder shall cast the promised into Avernus as a lemure. I'll make it simple. You fail or refuse, and you turn into a thick blob of stink flesh and sink to Avernus. Now, be a good boy and play fetch, pup, or you'll spend an eternity sizzling in the hells.
I wonder if there's a way
Mizora's
to
words
break
may be
this.
flippant, but they are tinged with desperation. She cannot afford for you to fail this mission. This may be your best chance to negotiate your way out of your pact.
Ooh. As long as I still keep my powers, right? I'll do it on one condition. You free me from this infernal pact.
Interesting. Now, why should I go letting my favorite pet off his leash?
How about I let the cult infect this devil instead? I bet they'd make a loyal thrall. Ponder the ins and outs of your contract, would there be a loophole, and say you know a pact-breaking charm and chant a series of pseudo-infernal phrases. Okay, so we have a +4, we have a +2, and we have a +4. Let's go for intimidation. How about I let the cult infect this devil instead? I bet they'd make a loyal thrall. Yes, I know. 16. God damn. And I don't even have a chance to get, like, friends or guidance? Well, luck be a lady. Oh. Dude. I tried. Oh, wait. Again, 2. I'm gonna go again. Come on, roll me a 14. Jesus Christ. 10. No. I mean, if there's a place for me to spend my inspiration, it's gonna be here. 14. That's enough. Okay. Thank God, man.
Incredible. You actually think you hold the winning hand? Fine. I'll play your game. But I amend the pact once the mission's done, not before.
Not sure if I should trust her.
Clause F, Section 9. Soulbinder shall bestow reward or favor only upon soulbearer's fulfillment of related obligation. Now, to Moonrise, pet. And do mind the shadows. They've been especially hungry.
Mm-hmm. I kind of doubt that she's gonna change something. And now Asteri wants to talk to me as well. Rescue Zariel's assets from Moonrise Towers. Mizora appeared in the form of a projection to inform me that the Absolute Cult abducted an infernal asset of some importance to the Archdevil Zariel. I should find and release them, unless I want to be cast into the hells for good, that is. Okay. What do you want, Astarion?
You know, I feel a connection between us. Like we're two souls walking the same path. You might be a little naive in the ways of the world, but I see promise in you. Ambition.
So, I picked up this guy. He played in my party for a grand total of, what, 5 minutes? Then I benched him and never took him again. But he feels a connection between us. I'm listening.
I just worry that we're not considering all our options when it comes to our uninvited guests. How many people are infected with them, do you think?
Oh, he's talking about tadpoles.
Thousands.
I thought he meant the demon.
And they're not just goblin trash. There are powerful people in the worm's thrall. Whoever's waiting for us at Moonrise Towers controls it all. But if we can take that control from them, imagine the power we'd wield.
Yes, evil. Evil power, I won't do it.
Power is just a tool. It's people that are good or evil. And even they can be a little bit, I'm just saying, there's an opportunity here. If we can control the tadpoles, we can keep ourselves safe and liberate the world from this evil.
Nay, absolutely not.
So much for thinking you had ambition. Still, we're not there yet. Maybe you'll see the light. Yet.
I can tell him this. We met a monster hunter in the swamp back when we were dealing with Anti-Ethel. He was looking for you.
What? Who? What happened?
He wanted to capture you and bring you back to Baldur's Gate.
Back to Baldur's Gate? Back to Cazador? There's no other reason he'd want me alive.
And who is Cazador exactly?
Cazador Zar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate. The patriarch of his coven and a monster obsessed with power. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn. And he became my tormentor.
Oh, poor you. Well, first of all, the hunter was a girl. Does that mean anything to you?
Of course, he'd send a Gur to hunt me down. First, they make excellent monster hunters, so find a vampire spawn sounds perfectly reasonable to them. Second, they're the reason I'm like this in the first place. It was a group of Gur that attacked me that night in Baldur's Gate. I would have died had Cazador not appeared and saved me.
He appeared just when you needed him. Sounds convenient.
Maybe. Maybe he was just drawn to the smell of blood. The point is, I have history with these barbarians. Cazador's sending a message. He's reminding me of his power. Even in the middle of nowhere, he can reach me. And he wants me back.
But why capture you? Why not just kill you?
Maybe he wants to make an example of me, to show what happens to runaways. Or maybe he thinks death is too good for me.
Well, you're safe with me.
Safe? You think I'm safe? Do you know the power a vampire lord possesses? He can change shape, turn into mist, call walls to do his bidding, shrug off blows like they're nothing. He could walk into our camp tonight and kill you with his bare hands. And you'd be lucky if death was the worst thing that happened to you.
Yeah, we'll see about that. The blade can handle a bloodsucker.
Trust me. He's like nothing you've handled before. Just trust me when I say we need to be careful. He'll send more lackeys. He has plenty of souls to command. We just have to be vigilant, keep our wits about us, and kill any monster hunters on sight.
Okay. Good to know, my friends. Let's rest. Someone still wants to talk to me. Who? Oh, Karlach.
God damn it, Will! Why did it have to be Mizora? Why did it have to be Zariel? You know I'd do just about anything for you. But we're being asked to retrieve one of Zariel's assets. What if it's a runaway, like me? Or something worse?
I have considered it. We'll face that possibility when we find out what we're up against.
I'll follow you until I can't, Will. That at least I can promise you.
Okay. That wasn't very insightful. I am very curious about what's gonna happen with this whole Will Mizora thing. Oh?
The voice of the Absolute is strong here, and getting stronger. I don't know how much longer I can resist it. But it's good to see you're making progress.
Dude, she's evil, for sure.
You took an unexpected route here. You did a brave thing, saving those people in the grove.
It wasn't even a choice, they needed my help.
Not everyone would have helped.
These expressions, man.
Deeper than she's willing to show you.
What is this? Are you all right? No, what is it?
The voice of the Absolute. Stronger this time. It just doesn't stop. We are being bombarded by waves of telepathic energy. Wave after wave with hardly a breath between them. I almost dare not rest. Each wave a set of orders to the infected. The order for your transformation has been given many times already. I just hope my powers last long enough to see this through.
Maybe I'm just very not trusting of people, but I still don't trust her. I really don't. Have you set up your spells yet? Oh, you did, you did.
A hero at heart.
Okay, leave camp. And this is where we're gonna have to stop our episode, my friends. A lot of stuff has been happening. A lot of dialogue has been happening. We sent Alcin over here. So when we start the next one, we're gonna go in there, speak with Alcin, see if he has any kind of news for us regarding this Thalcin person related to the Shadow Curse. But yeah, as always, I want to thank you all for being here with me in the channel, watching some Baldur's Gate 3. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, anything at all, leave a comment below. If you are enjoying the content, consider subscribing for more. There are videos coming out very, very soon, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Until then, stay safe, everyone.